Good morning, afternoon, just into the afternoon. It's a nice sunny day today, so I think I'm going to pack up my Volca sample and head to the park later with social distancing, etc., etc. I think we're allowed to do that now. I think that's fine. Anyway, this afternoon, firstly, we're with Spitfire Discover again. Like kind of number 3, I guess, in terms of a deep dive. And I think, as I alluded to in a previous video, what's the star, I think, of this is the percussion section. But in my haste to use the library, I actually overlooked a whole section of the percussion. So I think I've demonstrated the Celeste before in the... What piece was that? Was that the Witchfinder piece? I can't remember. And then I think I've demonstrated the harp as well. But actually, in addition, and also obviously timpani and unpitched percussion, in addition to that, we also get a marimba, a xylophone, a glockenspiel, and tubular bells. What? How fantastic is that? So as I said, so for your $50 that you're paying for Spitfire Discover, what you're getting is, like, you could say what you're getting is a really good percussion library that just happens to have good brass, good wind, good strings. That's one way of looking at it. Yeah, so I kind of overlooked these sort of the pitched percussion instruments before. So let's take a look. Let's take a deep dive. I've got an old Army of Mice piece into Reaper called Bathroom Spider, which I've previously done a kind of a remix on using just the Thorn plugin, and just using that for all the instruments. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to use the percussion section of Discover to do a remix of this Bathroom Spider track. Let's have a deep dive. Right, I've got this is the actual stem mixing project open. But essentially, if you imagine these were just all instances of Spitfire Discover with the various instruments loaded in. Let's take a look, take a listen. Well, straight off, marimba. Pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty good. I mean, the marimba pretty much does that throughout the entire piece. Bling, bling. It's pretty good. I mean, predominantly for this piece, I was just going to do marimba, xylophone, glockenspiel, and tubular bells, kind of the instruments I hadn't looked at, but since I was doing a percussion mix, I threw in harp and celeste just to double up some of the lines. So that marimba is sounding lovely and woody and delicious. The xylophone is doing something sexy at the end. Let's just listen to it here. How good does that sound? Kind of sounds like it's been struck with a hard beater. Obviously all of these instruments can be played with various percussion styles, very different kind of beaters. For example, we don't get that. We just get a stock sound and only one articulation. But so it's not a deeply sampled percussion library, but it sounds good, man. It sounds good. So you get these two kind of marimba and the xylophone, these two woody instruments playing together. I mean, I could just write with that all day and all night. It just sounds fantastic. It's glockenspiel. It actually does something sexy at the end. But let's just listen to it here. Yeah, nice. There's this crazy bit at the end here. it's pretty good sounding, isn't it? Really kind of very bright, very jingly, just exactly what you need for a glockenspiel. Tubular bells. I think this I adapted the old bass line of this piece, so it's pretty basic. Dong. If you're doing a cowboy soundtrack, perfect. Also Christmas, you hear tubular bells and you think, well, I think Mike Oldfield, obviously, but yeah, it just sounds of Christmas. But totally usable. Yeah, that actually doesn't do too much interesting in this piece, but yeah, those tubular bells sounding great, totally usable. Now we've heard the Celeste. Let's just hear it again in isolation. All these aren't very hot, but never mind. Oh wow, compositionally amazing. I think I'm doubling the tubular bells here, so this is an old kind of bass line that I've adapted. Okay, it's compositionally, it's not very interesting, but tell you what, just sounds great. Just really, again, really bright, really kind of sonorous and just delicious sounding. And we've heard the harp before. Obviously the harp sounds great if you just sort of program in sort of I need to say semicolons, semi-quavers or semi-quavers, doing kind of run-ups that we know the harp excels at. But here, just doubling up what I think either the marimba or the glockenspiel line, xylophone line. I mean, just delicious. So that's all. Whoops, what are you doing, Mark? That's all great. I also there was some old MIDI drums in like the MIDI that I resurrected from the old Army of Mice project. I just sort of remapped these to the unpitched percussion, and that sounds pretty good. Bit, as it's a bit robotic perhaps. But I mean, just without doing, well, with the minimum of arrangement, that's a nice little sort of percussion line. I think what we're hearing, the wood block, tom, and castanets going on there, great, just great. So of course, all together, let's just where the drums in on the old track. Let's listen to everything going on at the same time. Okay, I'll comp this piece together with some old movie footage. I think the film I'm thinking about, it's not really horror music, is it? It's a bit too sort of positive and uplifting for that. But I found some old footage for Village of the Damned, which is the film version of the Midwich Cuckoos. The 1960s version. Obviously, there's a remake of Village of the Damned with Christopher Reeve, which I think it was maybe the film he made prior to his horse riding accident. And also Luke Skywalker's in it, weirdly. Yeah, but anyway, the older 1960s version of the Midwich Cuckoos, for some reason they renamed it Village of the Damned. I don't know, that's probably the studio getting involved. Probably the studio thought the Midwich Cuckoos, that doesn't really sound, that sounds kind of weird. I don't know why they changed the name. Anyway, yeah. So just to sum up, the percussion in this in the Discover is just really great. Go away. Yeah. Anyway, cheerio.